everyone. Leslie here in the studio towards the end of May. Lots happened in the past 2.5 months for everyone. So much. Long story short, this is the next part of our homework series. You know, we have these little video tutorials for clients who are in progress with us, practicing Pilates method or the gyrokinesis method with us regularly. So I hope you enjoy it. The exercise we're working on today is the wall. The background of the wall is actually your piece of apparatus. So I love it for a lot of reasons. Number one, practicality. Number two, I also love it that it's accessible for any level of a client, any experience level of a client. Beginners use the wall to figure out how to take the work that they're learning in their practice up to the vertical standing. And experienced people use the wall perhaps for fine tuning, little problem solving happens, and then I like to use it to start to teach the body to come away from the wall eventually. I use it as a transitional place. So just some ideas. Very versatile, very accessible. So if you place your foot against the wall, you're going to want to measure 2 of your foot lengths, approximately. I like 2 and about 1/4. And then you want to line up your legs and feet to where you normally practice your lower body exercises. So today I'm going to be using a hip width apart parallel, but this could also be a small Pilates V with the heels together and the toes open, or I can have my toes all the way together and my legs in a closed parallel, okay? The reason that you would know which stance to use is first from your instructor providing that information for you, and then secondly, it would feel like it helps you stand well, okay? If your foot position is not good for you, is not right for you, it's gonna feel like you're fighting yourself a little bit. Okay, so your second step is to go into the first action of the exercise is to find the back body in alignment. So we're gonna rest the back of the hips against the wall and center the weight of our body right across the middle back of my pelvis. So not the top of the pelvis, not the bottom of the pelvis, right in the middle back of the pelvis. That's an important detail because it has to do with getting your hips to move well, okay? Just like anything we've done on the floor today. So next, find your abdominal connection so that you deepen the abdominals upwards and you're just lengthening the hips underneath your abdominals so you can get a really wonderful back position. Okay, so my back has been feeling healthier more as of late. So I'm able to get my back ribs on the wall comfortably. If you struggle with that, then you're going to want to make the hips first, right? And then we travel upwards through the back ribs. And that might be where you stop in the exercise, first step. If that's going well for you, then we start to open the chest by taking the shoulders, relaxing the shoulder tops, but we're gonna rotate the shoulders around us in a nice, lovely spiraling action so I can get my upper back connected to the wall. My shoulders, right, are gonna be an important part of that so that I have a long thoracic spine. So my head goes right up through the middle of my center, so it's balancing right over top of my legs and feet, okay? Now some people can get their head really close. I'll show you what happens with me because that's where I kind of pause in touching the wall. If I was to put my head back in the wall, it really overarcs my neck. You see if you can catch that. So that makes my neck do funny things, right? So that would be the equivalent of me like walking around with my chin up. So I'm gonna actually just center my head joint on top of my chest, and that's gonna be on top of my middle body. And then my middle body is just settling nicely right in between both hips, legs, and feet, okay? So your knees are over your ankle, and your knees point right over the middle of your foot, the very center line of your foot, the second and toe, the third toe. All right, so we're in our first action. Hopefully you feel that your back is nice and strong. The front body gets very long. but the back body gets really grounded, really beautiful grounding there. All right, next step, arm arcs. So we're gonna take the arms from up, okay? Some people, again, will stop there. If you find that you change your back or you lost your movement, then you'll stay there, and then you'll, with control, lower the arms, right? So it might be like that, with control, and lower the arms. It's important to keep the tailbone really long so that we avoid tucking the hips, because it compromises the strength of your center to do that. And I also want to make sure that I'm not arching my middle back or collapsing my chest. Now say it goes well for you, right? Then we're going to go ahead and see if we can raise the arms up. And then we'll lower as you spread the shoulder blades in the wall. And I'm going to keep my chest tall, 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 tall against the length of my tailbone as I lower to a diagonal. So I can go all the way through that arc and all the way through that arc again. Good. It looks a lot like lifting and lowering your arms, but I'm actually moving my center, right? I'm moving my arms around the center of my body, so that's where it starts to really feel like an arc. All right. So we can also do circles there because it'll get too long in our video. We'll let that stand as a variation. So once you have your arm arcs done, we're going to take the back stretch, the roll down. So starting, check your placement from your first part of the exercise. Peel just the head a little bit forward, right? Just a kind of nodding yes in the head joint. And then start to flex over the ribs. So you have a feeling of opening the middle of the back. And that's actually, oh, that feels so good. I'm gonna pause there because it's working. I'm not a naturally flexible person in parts of my back. And then I'm gonna just roll myself upright again. And I'll do that twice. So I'm gonna just nod yes a bit. I need my ribs to be mobile. Okay, so just notice I'm not collapsing my chest, right? I'm not hunkering my shoulders. I'm gonna keep the shoulders tops down. I definitely need to rotate them back because it asks my back to open. Okay, just like an architectural structure, if you collapse in your body, I know what that feels like well, right? If you collapse in your hips or if you collapse in your chest, then your back can't open, right? Because something's kind of getting stuck somewhere. It doesn't have enough support, okay? So 3 or 4 times, as you go through the repetitions of opening your back, you'll notice that your back gets looser, has a lot more freedom in it. So you might get lower. I just want to remind everybody at home who's practicing to not take the pelvis off the wall. You might take the lumbar curve off the wall, but not the pelvis. So see, that's where I got right into my lumbar curve. I'm definitely in, I feel safe in flexion. I'm not doing anything funny. Okay, last step. Take your feet a farther step away from the wall. Again, just check your form so that you have your knees lined up and you have your whole foot, the underside of the foot is nice and open. I like to use a little bit more activity here, so I'm going to kind of hug the carpet with my feet. Resting the pelvis back. Remember where we said the weight was. It's not the bottom, it's not the tippy top, it's like right in the very middle of the back hips. Ribs grounded, chest opening to your ability, eyes forward. Okay, this is hip strength. So I'm going to sit in a chair. And then I'm going to lift my center. And then I sit in the chair again. And lift my center. And I can share with you because I have kind of a flare going on in my hip and my knee. This is a really important movement to get in my hips because I need to tell my knees it's not about them. So if you feel any kind of pressure or strain in your knees, you're going to want to work smaller. It might look like that, right? We want to get the ability in the hip to move to where I can get into a deeper action, range of motion wise. But really, I have to tell my knee, it's not about you, it's not about you. I'm going to keep good alignment in my knees and use appropriate musculature in my legs, right? And then it's a really fabulous way to do your leg work because again, accessible and a nice place to fine tune some things for clients, okay? Now, as you come off, we're gonna go ahead and shift the center back the wall. Remember, we're the weight of the hips. So shift your weight a little heavier into one hip. Really make sure that you feel yourself straight. See if you can free up a leg without a lot of changes, hard part, and then in a smooth action, come away from the wall. Good. So you just stand for a moment, and on a sensory level, pretend the wall came with you. Where do you need to open your hip? How do you need to make your back wide? And then, is it possible to keep the lower body supporting you so that you can open up your shoulders and chest? Open the chest really by using good shoulders. Okay, so that's the wall. I, of course, am real life, work in progress. It's not perfect. When you go back and watch this as a recording or as a video, you'll see the last step. You'll see me lose it a little bit because it's the hardest part of the exercise, is how to go from total support and feedback and remove a feedback and support. I think it's a little bit, I think it's helpful to someone practicing to just make a decision, hold that one part that's really great, and then move away smooth action. Try not to go too slow there because it's a movement, not a static position in our body. And I hope you enjoy it. Thanks.